So what's up, guys? So the Gary Russell Jr. and JoJo Diaz Jr. fight is over. I had Gary Russell Jr. ahead in this fight. These are just, the replays, obviously, from the rounds. I had Gary Russell Jr. winning this fight. They're about to play the decision, so we're about to find out what the official decision is. But there are the stats for the fight.
Talk about throwing punches and punches. Gary Russell Jr. throwing nearly 1,000 punches in this fight. And intriguingly, Diaz.
Now, my opinion in the fight, JoJo Diaz did some really good work in this fight. He landed some really good punches. He did some really good body work in the fight also. But Gary Russell Jr.'s his ring IQ, his experience, it basically won in the fight, and his jab, working behind the jab. After the second round, because JoJo Diaz, I think he won the second round. He had a really good second round. After the second round, Gary Russell Jr. he started using his thinking. He put on his thinking cap, and he started working that jab and and started trying to keep JoJo Diaz at bay with the jab more. And in the later rounds, he started doing. He kind of got away from it in the He definitely got away from it in the 12th round, I guess, because he felt like he had to fight in the bag. And I don't think either guy hurt the other one. Now I could be wrong about this. I think JoJo Diaz was getting a little winded up to the after the 6th round. He looked like he was a little winded, but I could be mistaken. But both these guys did some good work. But JoJo Diaz, his face is kind of red, a little puffy around his eyes. They both did some good work in this fight, but they're about to read off the official decision. So let's see what they got to say.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of action, we go to the scorecards. We have a unanimous decision. Here are the score totals. Judging ringside, David Breslow scores about 115 to 113. Judges Nathan Palmer and Dave Moretti both scored about 117 to 111. All three in favor of the winner.
117 to 111.
And still champion, Mr. Gary Russell.
That's not a bad decision. That's not a bad decision at all. JoJo Diaz did some really good work in this fight. Like the 3rd, 4th rounds, he did some excellent work in those rounds. But what I saw from JoJo Diaz, he waited a lot. He waited around a lot for Gary Russell Jr. He wasn't being first. Gary Russell Jr. was getting off first and started to keep him at bay with the jab in those later rounds. To beyond the midway of the fight, he was controlling the fight and controlling the pace of the fight with that jab. He was doing a lot with that, man. He controlled the pace of the fight. He showed his ring generalship, and he came out with the victory, man.
This is probably the second best fighter he's fought in his career, way below Russel.
But I don't think JoJo Diaz he loses anything in this fight. The kid is tough. He's a competitor, and he kept it going strong all the way up to the last bell. You know what I'm saying? So JoJo Diaz doesn't lose anything in this fight. He's a great young talent. He's a great fighter. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, he loses nothing, man. He's going to be ready for the next opponent, the next challenge. JoJo Diaz is going to be a champion. It's not going to be too many guys who's going to be able to beat him, man.
You see the official scores. Russell had it pretty close, but Russell dominated on Moretti and Palmer's cards.
I mean, I'm not really arguing with either of those cards, man, or any of the other judges. I'm not arguing with that at all, man. You know, they saying 22% of the people thought JoJo Diaz won the fight. He didn't pull that fight out. I don't give a fuck about that 22%. Y'all don't know what the fuck y'all talking about. But anyway, man, so that's all I got for this fight. Gary Russell Jr. and JoJo Diaz. Gary Russell Jr. wins by unanimous decision on all 3 scorecards and retains his title. So yeah, man. So it was a good fight. I didn't get in the house in time to actually catch. I was like, man, I was playing the fight while I was driving in my car, man. Like real talk, trying to listen to it till I got home and put it on the TV. But it's a great fight. I'd like to see more from Gary Russell Jr. I'd like to see him fight more than once a year. I mean, you get a couple of different answers from him so far as why he doesn't fight, or not from him, but like his dad says, it's politics. Gary Russell Jr. says, he's trying to preserve his body and he's had hand injuries. Who knows what the real reason is? I don't know, but I would like to see him fight more than once a year. I mean, I think him not fighting more than once a year is the reason why he had some tough times in his fight. Like, he had tough times in his fight with JoJo Diaz. He won the overall rounds and won the majority of the rounds, but I think the fight would have been a little bit more easier for him if he had been fighting more often. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think. Leave it in the comment section. It's Ballroom Boxing. I'm out. Peace.